Xiang Wan waves frantically through the bustling city crowd to find her guide in this unfamiliar world. Yu Zhou, a successful novelist, joins her side to ease the rookie's nerves before their big meeting. Together, they approach the massive glass facade of the studio where Xiang Wan's new career is about to begin. Inside the sleek office of the 37th floor, the professional atmosphere of SC Voice Studio is palpable. Studio director Su Chang prepares the equipment, ready to conduct a technical mic test for the upcoming production. Su Chang immediately switches into a protective mentor role, advising Yu Zhou to swap her iced drink for something warmer to protect her voice. The two share a brief, supportive gesture, highlighting the deep bond they've built over years of collaboration. Yu Zhou promises to take better care of herself next time, clearly moved by her colleague's professional concern. Watching them from the sidelines, Xiang Wan realizes she must keep her own feelings strictly professional to avoid complicating their established partnership. Sitting alone with her thoughts, Xiang Wan focuses on the Pat Me Please script to prepare for her debut role. Despite her growing success, she can't help but feel a lingering sense of uncertainty about her place in this new environment. The mood shifts instantly when Su Chang announces the arrival of the project's lead talent, Miss Chao. Polished black heels click against the floor as a commanding presence enters the recording booth. Chao Xin stands tall, radiating the aura of a seasoned professional ready to take on her role as Xiang Wan's recording partner. Xiang Wan looks up from her seat in awe, finally meeting the legendary voice actress she'll be working alongside. Chao Xin gracefully extends her hand, initiating a formal introduction to her new colleague. Stunned by the actress's poise, Xiang Wan finds herself momentarily speechless at the start of this high-stakes collaboration. Chao Xin maintains a calm, focused expression, waiting for the rookie to find her footing. With a firm handshake, the two voice actors solidify their professional bond, ready to bring their audio drama to life. The production for Pat Me Please is finally underway, focusing on the story of the protagonists Su Jizi and Du Ling. The legendary Chao Xin will be lending her voice to the professional office worker, Su Jizi. Opposite her, rookie Xiang Wan takes on the challenging role of the mysterious time traveler, Du Ling. Director Su Chang signals that the recording booth is ready for the actresses to take their places. Before they start, Chao Xin professionally requests to remove her shoes to better channel her character's relaxed state. She steps out of her heels, fully committing to the physical demands of the performance. As they stand close, Xiang Wan finds herself focused on the veteran's presence and subtle, sophisticated fragrance. The two stand side by side, microphones ready as they prepare to dive into the script. With a sharp focus, Chao Xin gives the final nod that she is ready to begin. The atmosphere in the booth turns electric as they wait for the first cue. From the control room, Su Chang and Yu Zhou keep a close eye on the audio levels and performance quality. The first scene requires Du Ling to react with a sudden, genuine gasp of surprise. Xiang Wan makes her first attempt, but the sound comes out a bit forced and unnatural. She tries again immediately, struggling to find the right emotional resonance for the moment. Director Su Chang stops the take, noting that the delivery sounds a bit too much like a period piece drama. Xiang Wan clenches her hand, frustrated that she can't seem to get the technical delivery right. Seeing the rookie struggle, Chao Xin steps in to offer some direct, hands-on coaching. Following instructions, Xiang Wan adjusts her posture and moves closer to the microphone. Suddenly, Chao Xin reaches out to physically guide her, using a veteran technique to trigger a real reaction. The unexpected contact causes Xiang Wan to let out a perfectly natural gasp of shock. Chao Xin calmly explains that this is the exact level of surprise needed for the character's reaction. Looking into the veteran's eyes, Xiang Wan finally understands how to blend physical sensation with vocal acting. Back in the control booth, Su Chang is delighted by the sudden improvement in the performance. Yu Zhou watches the interaction, intrigued by Chao Xin's direct and effective mentoring style. To help with the next sequence, Chao Xin begins clapping a steady, rhythmic beat. The two actresses coordinate their breathing to match the technical rhythm of the scene. Chao Xin demonstrates the exact deep, throaty resonance required for the character's vocal depth. She points toward the equipment, signaling for Xiang Wan to pick up the vocal cue from this point. Fully synchronized now, Xiang Wan prepares to follow the veteran's lead into the next take. The scene transitions into the character's mental state, where they are dealing with an intense physical recovery. Chao Xin delivers her lines with a supportive, clinical tone to help ground the scene. A rhythmic sound effect is introduced to mimic the character's efforts to soothe her partner. Xiang Wan responds with a performance that perfectly captures her character's relief and vulnerability. She leans into the role, conveying the deep exhaustion of someone who has finally found professional comfort. As the take concludes, the two actresses remain focused, slowly coming down from the intensity of the scene. They share a quiet moment of professional acknowledgement, recognizing the success of the collaboration. The studio clock marks the end of the session as Su Chang officially calls it a wrap. Xiang Wan finally lets out a deep breath, the pressure of her first major session finally lifting. As she prepares to leave, Chao Xin catches her eye with an unexpected question. To the rookie's shock, the veteran star invites her out for a professional dinner to celebrate their progress. Chao Xin smoothly suggests they exchange contact information to coordinate the details of their upcoming meeting. With a professional wave, the legendary veteran takes her leave for the evening. Xiang Wan waves back enthusiastically, still buzzing from the successful recording session. Alone at last, the rookie stares at her phone, barely believing she just secured a private meeting with her idol. A notification pings, revealing the precise location for their scheduled rendezvous. While walking home, Xiang Wan receives an unexpected call from the studio's dubbing director, Peng Xiangji. She politely declines Peng's invitation for dinner, explaining that she already has plans for the following day. When she reveals her host is none other than Chao Xin, the director is visibly stunned by the news. Peng recalls their previous encounter at the temple fair, sensing that something unusual is definitely afoot. Xiang Wan listens intently as the director begins to piece together a surprising theory over the phone. The director suggests that the notoriously private veteran might actually be taking a personal interest in the rookie's career. The next day arrives, and Xiang Wan finds herself standing before the sleek entrance of the Star Central Cafe. She takes a deep breath and steps inside, prepared for a serious professional discussion. Chao Xin is already seated, looking every bit the poised professional as she checks her messages. Xiang Wan approaches the table with a respectful greeting for her mentor. Chao Xin looks up with a warm smile, immediately offering to order drinks for them both. The two settle into their seats as the server takes an order for a pair of iced Americanos. They sit across from one another, the atmosphere thick with the weight of professional expectations. A brief, awkward silence hangs between them as they wait for their beverages to arrive. Once the coffee is served, they take their first sips in quiet, focused contemplation. Finally, Chao Xin breaks the silence, admitting there is a sensitive matter she needs to discuss. Recalling the director's words about being liked, Xiang Wan leans in, bracing for a profound revelation. Instead of praise, Chao Xin nervously asks if it's possible to recover a donation made to a previous production. She confesses that her daughter, Pai Pai, accidentally donated a massive sum of money to one of Xiang Wan's radio dramas. Chao Xin explains her hesitation to involve the platform directly, fearing it might cause a scandal for the production team. Caught completely off guard by the mundane request, Xiang Wan can't help but let out a sudden laugh. She quickly apologizes, remembering a friend's joke about wealthy fans who fund entire projects. Despite the oddity of the situation, the rookie promises to look into the matter with her old crew. Relieved to have the request accepted, Chao Xin offers a genuine look of gratitude. Later, Peng Zhengji explains that Chao Xin's secrecy is likely an effort to protect her daughter's privacy. The studio veterans discuss the awkwardness of asking for a refund after the money has already been spent. They question whether the production team would even listen to a rookie's request regarding such a large sum. Peng turns to Xiang Wan, asking how she intends to handle the veteran's delicate situation. Xiang Wan reveals she has already reached out to the director of the previous project on her way over. Her phone vibrates with a new message, signaling an official response from the production team. The director's text explains that the funds were already allocated for equipment and staff, making a refund impossible. Xiang Wan stares at the screen, feeling the weight of failing her mentor's first personal request. Her colleagues remind her that she did everything she could given the circumstances. Instead of giving up, Xiang Wan types a bold message asking to visit Chao Xin's home to explain the situation to her daughter. She believes that a face-to-face meeting is the only proper way to handle a favor she couldn't fulfill. To her surprise, Chao Xin immediately agrees and offers to pick her up for a tutoring session the very next day. It's Saturday morning, and Xiang Wan starts her day by checking her schedule to ensure she's ready for the task ahead. She peers into her nearly empty fridge, noting she needs to pick up groceries on her way back. Grabbing a quick snack, she holds a fresh apple, ready to fuel up for the afternoon. She reflects on a habit learned from her past, remembering how she was taught that the most nutrients are in the skin. Taking a crisp bite, she realizes how many of her daily routines were formed during her time living at Yu Zhou's place. Before heading out, she takes one last look at the TV, making sure it's powered down to save on electricity. Stepping out into the hallway with a bag in hand, she prepares for her visit to Chao Xin's home. She carries a small gift bag, carefully decorated with a cute cat sticker to make it special for the occasion. On her way, she stops to provide a meal for the local stray cats that frequent the area. The two cats happily enjoy their food, a small moment of kindness before she continues her journey. Despite the peaceful morning, the weight of her upcoming university tuition remains a constant concern in the back of her mind. Her thoughts are interrupted by a sleek luxury car pulling up right in front of her. Xiang Wan approaches the vehicle, ready to meet the legendary voice actress for their scheduled session. Chao Xin rolls down the window and insists that Xiang Wan takes the front passenger seat. Xiang Wan hesitates, feeling that the front seat is usually reserved for someone much closer than a junior colleague. Chao Xin gives a playful, welcoming smile, explaining that she doesn't want to feel like a hired chauffeur. Accepting the invitation, Xiang Wan climbs in, maintaining a strictly professional demeanor as they prepare to depart. She sits perfectly upright, looking incredibly formal as they begin their drive. Chao Xin glances over and chuckles, teasing her that she looks as stiff as a flight attendant on duty. Xiang Wan takes a deep breath and delivers the difficult news that the production team cannot refund the donation. A soft sigh escapes Chao Xin as she accepts the financial loss with professional composure. They soon arrive at a high-end apartment building located in a prime district of the city. Chao Xin leads the way to her front door, quickly unlocking it to welcome her guest inside. She gestures for Xiang Wan to enter, offering her a seat in the elegantly decorated living room. Sitting on the sofa, Xiang Wan is struck by the sheer scale and luxury of the high-end property. Chao Xin hangs up her coat and explains that she invested all her savings into this home for her daughter's future. She shares the reality of her life as a single mother, explaining how her career success is the foundation for her family's security. Xiang Wan watches her intently, deeply moved by the veteran's dedication to her child. Chao Xin brings over a cup of tea, continuing to discuss the high costs of raising a child in such a competitive environment. She explains that the lost donation money was specifically intended for her daughter's specialized music lessons. To help ease the tension, Xiang Wan presents the gift. She brought a brand new handheld game console. Chao Xin looks at the gift, touched by the gesture but concerned that Xiang Wan spent too much of her own money. Just then, young Pai Pai enters the room accompanied by her weekend tutor. Chao Xin politely thanks the tutor for her hard work as the session comes to an end. Pai Pai stops in her tracks, looking at the unfamiliar guest with wide-eyed curiosity. Xiang Wan gives the little girl a warm, friendly greeting to introduce herself. Realizing she hasn't even washed her face yet, Pai Pai's expression shifts into one of pure shock. The young girl becomes hilariously flustered, embarrassed to be seen by a guest in her messy morning state. With a loud cry of distress, she sprints away toward the bathroom to hide. Xiang Wan waits patiently in the living room, hearing the muffled sounds of the child's dramatic retreat. She can't help but let out a quiet giggle at the innocent and adorable scene. Chao Xin returns to the room, looking back at her daughter's antics with an amused expression. With a gracious smile, she invites Xiang Wan to stay for a home-cooked dinner to conclude their meeting. Chao breaks the ice by asking her guest what she'd like for dinner. Since the fridge is empty, Xiang Wan insists on accompanying her senior to the local supermarket. Chao Xin calls out a quick goodbye to Pai Pai as they prepare to depart. The pair makes their way through the sleek, modern hallway of the luxury apartment. Xiang Wan follows closely, appreciative of the legendary voice actor's hospitality. Little Pai Pai watches from the doorway, looking adorable yet slightly defensive of her new friend. Chao Xin can't resist a playful jab, teasing that Xiang Wan is her partner anyway. She leaves the pouting child with instructions to tidy up her messy bangs with a bit of water. A lighthearted smile plays on Chao Xin's lips as they finally head out the door. The heavy door clicks shut, leaving the quiet apartment behind. Walking toward the elevator, Xiang Wan notes how much the veteran enjoys teasing her daughter. Chao Xin admits that despite the stress, she's glad the donation incident made Pai Pai more expressive. They reach the elevator bank, waiting for the lift to carry them down to the shops. Chao Xin quickly clarifies that her earlier comment about them being a pair was just a joke. Xiang Wan takes it in stride, mentioning that fans often see them that way regardless. Chao Xin pauses, looking at her junior with a hint of genuine surprise. The elevator chimes as they arrive at the supermarket level to begin their errand. They step into the bustling store, ready to gather the necessary ingredients for the night's feast. Navigating the aisles, they find themselves in the meticulously organized meat department. Chao Xin asks for her preference, leading Xiang Wan to recall a former roommate's love for beef. The two weigh their options between a spicy Sichuan style or a classic braised dish. A high-quality cut of beef is selected and placed firmly into the shopping cart. They move on to the produce, deciding that lettuce makes for the perfect crisp base. Xiang Wan is impressed by the senior's decisive and experienced approach to grocery shopping. Chao Xin notes that their specific combination of ingredients is actually quite rare. She reaches for the freshest vegetables, her movements precise and practiced. Despite the casual errand, Chao Xin maintains her professional stature in elegant high heels. Her steady gait shows no sign of discomfort as they navigate the tile floors. Xiang Wan wonders why she chooses such formal footwear for a simple trip downstairs. Chao Xin explains that the height gives her a sense of independence and a better vantage point. Xiang Wan listens carefully, gaining a deeper understanding of the veteran's strong-willed personality. With the cart full of fresh supplies, they prepare to return and start the meal. Back in the kitchen, Chao Xin ties on an apron to protect her professional attire. She prepares to dive into the culinary tasks with the same focus she brings to the recording booth. Xiang Wan steps in to help, carefully rolling up her sleeves to prepare for the work ahead. The two maintain a clean and efficient workspace as they begin prepping the ingredients. Sensing a loose strap, Xiang Wan reaches out to help secure Chao Xin's apron. Chao Xin looks on, momentarily surprised by her junior's attentive and helpful nature. With the apron properly adjusted, they stand ready to collaborate on a perfect dinner. Chao Xin expresses her gratitude as she directs Xiang Wan to wait in the living area while the meal finishes. Xiang Wan gives a quick nod of agreement and begins to step away. Suddenly, Xiang Wan stops in her tracks, noticing a small smudge on the veteran's face. Little Pai Pai chimes in with a bright smile, eagerly inviting their guest to take a seat at the table. Chao Xin looks back with a puzzled expression, wondering what caught her companion's eye. With a playful tone, Xiang Wan points out that the stray bit of starch on her face doesn't really suit her elegant look. Realizing the mistake, Chao Xin reaches up to check her cheek. The legendary voice actress can't help but chuckle at her own domestic clumsiness. She gracefully tucks a strand of hair back, her usual cool exterior melting into a genuine smile. Watching her, Xiang Wan realizes that even the most aloof stars have a warm, human side that is actually quite cute. The kitchen atmosphere grows light as the two women share a brief, comfortable silence. In a moment of spontaneous friendliness, Xiang Wan reaches out to gently poke the spot on Chao Xin's cheek. Chao Xin freezes, completely caught off guard by the rookie's sudden forwardness. Xiang Wan quickly offers an apology, her face glowing with a rare, youthful happiness that isn't just professional politeness. Soon, the table is filled with a mouth-watering array of home-cooked dishes. The trio settles in for a cozy dinner, looking more like a family than professional colleagues. Pai Pai digs in with pure delight, clearly loving the meal her mother prepared. Between bites, Xiang Wan asks for professional advice regarding the recruitment process for a new studio. Chao Xin pauses her meal, curious about why the rookie is suddenly interested in the business side of the industry. Chao Xin opens up about the shifting industry regulations that are forcing many veterans to reconsider their career paths. Xiang Wan immediately offers to facilitate a meeting with her own boss to help Chao Xin navigate the transition of running a studio. Eager to show off in front of their guest, Pai Pai jumps up to handle the cleanup duties. Xiang Wan reveals her hidden talent for the guqin, offering to provide lessons for the young girl. Chao Xin initially hesitates, feeling that such high-level tutoring is too much of a favor to ask. Undeterred, Xiang Wan doubles down on her pitch, confident in her exceptional skills as an instructor. She suggests a fair trade, expert music lessons in exchange for more of Chao Xin's incredible home cooking to make up the difference. Chao Xin gazes at her, impressed by the rookie's earnest and logical approach to the deal. With a soft look in her eyes, the veteran VA officially agrees to the arrangement. The conversation shifts back to their earlier shopping trip, where they discuss the technical costs of starting a studio. As they push the cart through the aisles, Xiang Wan relays advice about scouting versatile talent to keep a tight budget. Xiang Wan picks out fresh produce while explaining the necessity of maintaining strong relationships with production companies. Chao Xin listens intently, truly valuing the professional mentorship being offered in this informal setting. Xiang Wan credits her own mentor for helping her with every detail when she first moved to the city. Chao Xin asks a pointed question, wondering if Xiang Wan's feelings for her former mentor were more than just professional. Xiang Wan clarifies that those feelings are in the past, confirming her orientation with total honesty. The revelation leaves Chao Xin momentarily stunned as she processes the rookie's candidness. Chao Xin struggles to find the right words, insisting she simply doesn't know much about the community. A hilarious chibi sequence follows as Xiang Wan playfully teases her for being so flustered. Chao Xin defends her professional integrity, pointing out her extensive work voicing characters in the GL genre. She admits she was only surprised because Xiang Wan seems so normal compared to her expectations. Realizing her words are coming out wrong, Chao Xin gently takes hold of Xiang Wan's arm to stop the rambling. Xiang Wan looks back at her with an intense, searching gaze. With a playful glint in her eye, Xiang Wan asks if the legendary VA shares a similar background. In the middle of the grocery aisle, Chao Xin finds herself completely flustered, stumbling through a denial after the unexpected question about her own orientation. Xiang Wan doesn't look away, watching the veteran actress with a playful, knowing glint in her eyes. Seeing that look, Chao Xin realizes that beneath the rookie's polite exterior lies a girl who is surprisingly sly. Xiang Wan quickly steers the conversation back to professional matters, mentioning a director who is eager to have Chao Xin join a new project. She follows up with a bright, charming smile, noting that as long as there's mutual respect between them, everything is perfect. Chao Xin maintains her composure, agreeing to review the casting invitations and character designs via email as they push their cart forward. As they navigate aisles, the two discuss the evening's menu, with Xiang Wan suggesting they pivot to something lighter than meatballs. She explains her sudden health kick, admitting she's worried that late-night indulgence is starting to affect her appearance. Chao Xin stops the cart and steps in close, performing a focused, professional inspection of the younger woman's profile. She remains strictly clinical, observing Xiang Wan's neck and jawline as the girl nervously swallows. Chao Xin keeps a firm, steady hand on the cart handle while finishing her assessment. With a calm, definitive tone, she assures Xiang Wan that she looks perfectly fine. Relieved by the expert's verdict, Xiang Wan beams, her worries about the menu officially put to rest. Later that evening, Chao Xin arrives home and pushes open the door to check on her daughter. She finds Pai Pai relaxing on the sofa, teasing the young girl for her childish behavior after a long day. Pai Pai proudly declares herself a dedicated fan of Xiang Wan, her enthusiasm lighting up the room. The girl kicks her feet in the air, comfortable and content in her casual home attire. Chao Xin sits down at the table, ready to help with the stack of school books and study materials. Pai Pai looks up with wide, curious eyes, wondering about her mother's thoughts on their new friend. Chao Xin holds a notebook, her expression turning thoughtful as she considers the day's events. She makes it clear that she isn't interested in pursuing anything beyond their current professional and friendly bond. Satisfied with the answer, Pai Pai collapses onto the sofa, happy to have her mother's full attention. A sweet drawing in a diary captures the memory of them eating together, marking the start of a new chapter. Chao Xin looks at her daughter, realizing that Pai Pei's admiration for the rookie VA is deeper than she first thought. Over the next month, the bond grows as Xiang Wan visits every week to provide formal Guqin lessons. Their time together extends beyond music, as they sit side by side to tackle foreign language classes. In the recording studio, the professional duo works in perfect sync, finally wrapping up their work on the Help Me Pat audio drama. The atmosphere is warm as Chao Xin uses a friendly nickname, already planning their next shared meal. 1 month later, the group gathers for dinner, but the mood at the table has shifted. Pai Pai suddenly vents her frustrations, begging to quit the music lessons due to Xiang Wan's unexpected intensity. She flashes back to a lesson where Xiang Wan demanded absolute traditional respect, acting like a strict master. The girl recalls the sting of a ruler on her palm, a disciplinary measure used whenever she hit a wrong note. Even more exhausting was the requirement to memorize complex classical texts, a task that far too advanced for a 10-year-old. Chao Xin struggles to hide her amusement, failing to suppress a soft laugh at the dramatic retelling. As Pai Pai threatens to run away from home in protest, Chao Xin tries to calm her down while still clearly entertained. Later that night, Chao Xin picks up her phone with a smirk, ready to call the strict teacher herself. While Pai Pai storms out of the room in a huff, Chao Xin warmly greets Xiang Wan on the line. She asks about the girl's plans for the next day, only to learn that Xiang Wan is currently meeting with a real estate agent. Through the phone, Xiang Wan explains that she needs to move closer to Jiang University before the new semester begins. She admits that her budget is tight and that finding a trustworthy roommate to split the rent is proving difficult. Seeing a perfect solution, Chao Xin leans back and suggests that Xiang Wan simply move into her spare room instead of living with a stranger. Xiang Wan reflects on her recent move, acknowledging the difficulty of adjusting after leaving her previous living situation. She worries that constantly moving makes her feel like drifting duckweed, fearing the pain of temporary attachments. On the other end of the line, Chao Xin frames her offer as a mutually beneficial arrangement to help cover her own mortgage. The two agree to meet the following day, ending their call with a polite farewell. The next morning, Chao Xin arrives in her car, ready to assist with the apartment hunt. Xiang Wan greets her senior with a bright smile, appreciative of the help. Chao Xin steps out of the vehicle, holding 2 bottles of water for their trip. Xiang Wan looks on as the senior VA offers her a choice between the beverages. They stand by the car, discussing the options before heading out. Xiang Wan accepts the drink, maintaining her polite and well-behaved demeanor. Chao Xin gestures for her to get into the car so they can make use of their time efficiently. Once inside, Chao Xin reveals she brought breakfast along, insisting that Xiang Wan eat. As they drive through the city, Xiang Wan offers to share the meal with her mentor. Xiang Wan holds out her soy milk, asking if the senior VA would like to try some of the sweet drink. Chao Xin looks over, noting that she can't hold the cup while her hands are busy steering. Realizing the situation, Xiang Wan prepares to assist her friend with the beverage. Chao Xin takes a sip of the drink while keeping her eyes on the road. Xiang Wan carefully holds the cup steady to ensure no spills occur during the drive. The rookie VA finds the helpful gesture to be a bit more personal than she expected. Chao Xin thanks her, confirming that the milk is indeed quite good. Xiang Wan looks down at the cup, her thoughts racing about the social implications of the moment. In a brief moment of internal reflection, she considers her own identity and feelings. She continues to hold the drink, focused on being a helpful passenger. She notices there is still a significant amount of the beverage left in the cup. The two share a quiet moment of cooperation as the car moves through traffic. Chao Xin announces she has had enough, signaling the end of the break. Xiang Wan asks if she should continue holding the drink or put it away. Chao Xin points toward the cup holder, indicating where the drink should be placed. They finally arrive at their destination, both focused on the task of finding a suitable home. Xiang Wan steps out of the car, checking her phone for messages from the real estate agent. She notices that Chao Xin's professional attire matches the agent's description. Chao Xin explains her preference for simple dress shirts as they walk toward the building. The agent, Little Wang, waves them over with an enthusiastic greeting. The agent is briefly confused by the presence of another person who looks like a fellow professional. Xiang Wan quickly clarifies that Chao Xin is her friend who is helping her evaluate the listings. They enter the building, only to find the hallways cluttered with stacks of boxes and junk. The agent explains the floor plan, but the cramped, dirty environment is immediately apparent. He opens the door to the unit, promising a safe environment for young professionals. The interior is a disaster, filled with grime, broken furniture, and general filth. Xiang Wan stands frozen in shock at the poor quality of the living space. Sensing her friend's discomfort, Chao Xin immediately reaches out to grab Xiang Wan's hand. Without hesitation, Chao Xin leads her out of the room, refusing to let her stay in such a place. The senior VA is determined to protect her mentee from living in such substandard conditions. The agent tries to pivot to a higher budget listing as they make their exit. As they walk away, Xiang Wan's phone rings with an incoming call from Yu Zhou. Xiang Wan answers the call, listening to her friend's concerns about her apartment search. She informs Yu Zhou that she isn't alone, and that Chao Xin is currently assisting her. While Xiang Wan talks on the phone, Chao Xin reviews other potential listings with the agent. Chao Xin dismisses the remaining options, realizing the quality won't meet their standards. Xiang Wan asks her friend for advice, wondering if moving in with the senior VA is the right choice after all. Xiang Wan hesitates on the phone, admitting to her friend that the legendary Chao Xin actually invited her to move in. She hangs up with a heavy sigh, the weight of the decision pressing down on her. Returning to the hallway, she quickly apologizes for the delay and signals they can proceed with the next apartment viewing. Their search brings them to the gates of the Yongjiang residential compound, a neighborhood that looks significantly more promising. The real estate agent greets them warmly, confirming that the current tenants are home and ready for their inspection. He leads the duo toward the building, maintaining an upbeat professional pitch as they walk. Chao Xin scans the surroundings, noting that this location feels much more civilized than the previous disaster. They join a growing crowd of residents waiting for the elevator in the lobby. The indicator light dings as the lift finally arrives at the ground floor. The group funnels into the cramped space, leaving barely any room to move. As more people push inside, the two women are forced into close quarters to make room for everyone. Chao Xin reaches out to steady her junior, providing a sense of security amidst the moving crowd. The metal doors slide shut, sealing them into the packed, rising elevator. They stand shoulder to shoulder, navigating the awkward silence of the crowded ride. A sudden lurch of the elevator causes a nearby passenger to bump right into Xiang Wan. Chao Xin instantly catches her, her sharp gaze softening with protective concern as she prevents a fall. Xiang Wan murmurs a quick apology, but the veteran VA simply tells her to lean on her until they reach their floor. The elevator continues its slow ascent as the social tension in the air becomes palpable. Chao Xin looks down at her student, her expression unreadable under the dim lights. Xiang Wan can only stare back, her heart racing from the unexpected proximity to her mentor. The bell dings at the 18th floor, and they finally step out into the quiet air of the hallway. The agent leads them down the corridor toward the specific unit they came to evaluate. Chao Xin stops at the door, telling Xiang Wan to go in first while she handles a quick professional phone call. At the entrance, a messy pile of shoes suggests the apartment is far more crowded than the listing claimed. Xiang Wan's heart sinks as she realizes the unit is a chaotic, co-ed living space. Suddenly, a cockroach darts across the floorboards, shattering any hope of this being a viable home. Terrified by the lack of hygiene, Xiang Wan realizes she cannot possibly live in these conditions. She politely informs the agent she isn't interested and quickly makes her exit from the unit. Outside, she explains to the agent that she needs to find her friend, so they can leave this complex behind. She pushes open the heavy door to the stairwell, searching for any sign of Chao Xin. She finds the veteran leaning against the wall in the shadows, a single cigarette lit in her hand. The cool, collected mentor looks remarkably different and contemplative in this private moment. Chao Xin notices her and immediately tells her to stay back, not wanting her to breathe in the smoke. Xiang Wan sits on the steps instead, admitting she never knew her professional idol had such a habit. Chao Xin explains she only indulges when she's away from home to protect her cat's health. Her eyes wander to the distance, admitting the grimy environment reminded her of the difficult days she spent starting her career. Watching her, Xiang Wan realizes that beneath the cold exterior lies a woman of incredible depth and kindness. The smoke curls around Chao Xin, highlighting the fascinating contradictions that define her personality. She carefully snuffs out the ember, returning to her composed and professional self. Chao Xin steps forward, the sound of her heels echoing through the quiet concrete stairwell. She reaches out a hand to help the rookie to her feet, a silent gesture of support. In that moment, Xiang Wan feels a sudden, overwhelming urge to truly understand the woman standing before her. Looking up with newfound resolve, she finally gives her answer. She wants to be roommates. Chao Xin lowers her hand, having just finished her secret smoke in the quiet stairwell. Xiang Wan gazes up, finally seeing the hidden vulnerability beneath Chao Xin's stoic exterior. Standing together in the dim light, the weight of their shared understanding hangs heavy in the air. Xiang Wan realizes that Chao Xin's solitude isn't just a choice, but a quiet struggle she's endured for years. Determined to help, the rookie offers to keep her mentor company during these private moments from now on. Chao Xin looks surprised, realizing she's finally found someone who truly understands her secret habit. Xiang Wan lays out her ground rules, promising to be a respectful and unobtrusive roommate once she moves in. A rare, gentle smile touches Chao Xin's lips as she listens to the younger woman's sincere conditions for their living arrangement. The mentor notes that Xiang Wan might require some professional guidance, though she jokes about using outdated teaching methods. Reflecting on her past, Xiang Wan mentions how her childhood masters believed a strict hand produced the best disciples. Chao Xin listens intently, recalling how Xiang Wan previously described herself as a drifter during an awards ceremony. Xiang Wan admits that while her family was once well off, they eventually fell on incredibly hard times. Chao Xin observes that Xiang Wan's refined upbringing explains her naturally poised and educated manner. A brief memory shows Xiang Wan's life of luxury before her world was turned upside down. She chuckles at the irony of almost ending up in a cockroach-infested apartment despite her high-class background. Curious about the earlier drama, Chao Xin asks if things were really that bad at the previous rental viewing. She admits that if she had heard a scream, she would have rushed in to save the day immediately. Xiang Wan playfully asks if her mentor would have charged into battle with with a cigarette still in her hand. Chao Xin jokes that she would have needed that smoke to clear her head before fighting off any imaginary pests. Reaching out with a steady hand, Chao Xin offers to help Xiang Wan up from the cold stairs. Xiang Wan takes the offered hand, feeling the solid support of her new roommate for the first time. Suddenly, Xiang Wan's phone rings, shattering the quiet moment between the two women. It's Ms. Su on the line, who is shocked to hear that Xiang Wan has been house hunting with the famous Chao Xin. Xiang Wan invites her mentor to join a group lunch with their mutual friends to celebrate the new arrangement. Soon, the four of them are gathered around a steaming hot pot, ready for a massive feast. The conversation turns to business as they settle in for their meal and prepare to order. Xiang Wan officially announces her decision to move in with Chao Xin instead of finding a separate place. Chao Xin confirms that her apartment is conveniently located near the university for an easy daily commute. Ms. Su is stunned, knowing that Chao Xin's neighborhood is one of the most expensive and exclusive in the city. Xiang Wan defends her mentor, praising Chao Xin's incredible professional capability and kind heart. The rookie focuses on the food for a moment, dipping a piece of meat into the boiling broth. The group continues their meal, though the atmosphere remains thick with unspoken questions about the new roommates. Their friends exchange worried glances, wondering if Xiang Wan is getting in over her head with such a powerful mentor. Ignoring the tension, Xiang Wan politely asks if Chao Xin can drive her back after they finish their lunch. Yu Zhou watches the interaction closely, noting how comfortable the two have already become with each other. Ms. Su's mind races as she tries to figure out how to navigate this surprising new social dynamic. She nudges Yu Zhou, urging her friend to say something to break the awkward silence at the table. Yu Zhou looks back, feeling the pressure to act as the mediator for the rest of the production crew. The table remains a flurry of activity as everyone digs into the various dishes laid out before them. Ms. Su takes the lead, asking when they should all help Xiang Wan pack for the big move. All eyes turn to Chao Xin, waiting to see if she'll actually allow guests into her private sanctuary. With a graceful smile, Chao Xin welcomes them, stating that her home is now Xiang Wan's home as well. Chao Xin returns to her quiet residence, stepping through the doorway after a long day. She walks past the living area where her young niece Pai Pai is already waiting with a pouting expression. Adjusting her glasses, Chao Xin prepares to address the inevitable complaints about tonight's dinner. She calmly asks the girl to hand over her latest test results so she can sign off on them. With a gentle smile, she finally breaks the news that their household is about to get a little bigger. The announcement that Xiang Wan is moving in leaves the young girl absolutely floored. Chao sits beside her to explain that the grueling tutoring sessions are officially a thing of the past. She speaks with a sense of transparency, no longer wishing to hide the reality of their situation from the child. Pai Pai listens with a skeptical look, trying to wrap her head around the sudden change. Chao Xin clarifies that despite appearances, their new roommate actually comes from a very prestigious background. The girl leans in close, her curiosity piqued by the mention of Xiang Wan's status. Chao Xin maintains a professional tone, explaining that Xiang Wan will simply be a tenant paying rent for the empty room. Finding the arrangement acceptable, Pai Pai beams with a newfound sense of cooperation. As a reward for being so understanding, Chao Xin confirms the girl can attend her dream summer camp. She gives her niece a gentle pat on the head, signaling that it's time to head to bed. Pai Pai looks up with a promise to stay in touch while she is away. The girl throws her arms around her aunt in a tight, affectionate embrace before leaving. A look of quiet satisfaction settles on Chao Xin's face, knowing the transition is going smoothly. Soon after, Chao Xin opens the door to welcome the moving party into her home. Xiang Wan arrives with Miss Su and Yu Zhou, all of them lugging heavy suitcases and supplies. The group steps into the high-end apartment, marveling at the sleek, modern layout. They immediately get to work, efficiently unpacking boxes and organizing the new living space. An hour of intense labor passes as they transform the empty room into a functional home. Exhausted from the move, the three friends collapse onto the sofa to catch their breath. Chao Xin steps up to the plate, offering to prepare a celebratory meal for everyone. Xiang Wan looks on with an appreciative smile, remembering the quality of Chao Xin's cooking. Ms. Su relaxes against a pillow, teasing her friends about the domestic scene unfolding. Yu Zhou encourages Xiang Wan to enjoy the gourmet meals while she has the chance. Chao Xin heads toward the kitchen, mentally cataloging the ingredients she has on hand. She reveals a refrigerator that is perfectly organized and stocked with fresh meats and vegetables. The team spirit continues as the friends join in to help with the vegetable prep. Ms. Su and Yu Zhou handle the heavy lifting at the counter, keeping the atmosphere light and lively. Watching them work, Chao Xin is struck by a rare sense of warmth and belonging in her own home. She moves toward the cabinetry to gather the necessary supplies for drinks. Reaching for the high shelves, she focuses on selecting the most appropriate glassware for the occasion. She pauses for a split second, her eyes widening as she senses someone nearby. A moment of slight confusion crosses her mind as she processes the sudden company. Xiang Wan is right there beside her, reaching up to help secure the delicate glasses. Chao Xin looks back with a soft, appreciative expression, acknowledging the help. Carrying the tray back to the center of the room, she prepares to serve her guests. While the friends continue their energetic banter in the kitchen, the bond between the new roommates only deepens. The evening settles into a comfortable rhythm as a glass is set firmly on the counter, signaling the start of the night's final preparations. Chao Xin suggests a quick trip downstairs to pick up some fresh fruit to round out their celebratory meal. By the time they return, the apartment is filled with the mouth-watering aroma of a feast prepared by their friends. As she moves through the hall, Chao Xin notices the bathroom door has been left slightly ajar. She pauses for a moment, catching an unexpected glimpse through the narrow opening. Her eyes widen in genuine surprise at the private scene unfolding inside. There, Yu Zhou and Mez Su are lost in a deep, affectionate embrace, completely unaware of their surroundings. Chao Xin quietly retreats, her mind racing as she processes this sudden revelation of her friend's hidden bond. She reaches out and gently pulls the door shut, choosing to respect their privacy with a soft click. The group finally gathers around the long marble table, which is now overflowing with delicious dishes. Laughter and lighthearted conversation fill the room as everyone begins to dig into the meal. Glasses of iced tea and wine gleam under the warm glow of the dining room chandelier. Yu Zhou stands and raises her glass, her face glowing with happiness for her friend. Together, they all clink their glasses in a heartfelt toast to welcome Xiang Wan to her new home. The hours slip away unnoticed as the celebration stretches late into the quiet night. Eventually, the guests gather their things at the door, sharing final hugs before heading out. With the house finally quiet, Chao Xin turns to Xiang Wan to ensure she isn't feeling too overwhelmed by the move. Xiang Wan insists she's fine and immediately begins clearing the plates from the table. She kneels down to organize the cleaning supplies, her movements remaining graceful despite the mundane task. Chao Xin watches her from a distance, struck by the effortless elegance that seems to follow Xiang Wan's every gesture. As Xiang Wan reaches forward, a loose lock of hair falls over her shoulder and into her way. Chao Xin quickly warns her to be careful and stay clear of the messy waste bag. She reaches out, her fingers catching the stray strands of hair with practiced gentleness. Standing behind the younger girl, Chao Xin carefully gathers the long tresses into a neat bundle. She takes a moment to tie the hair back securely, ensuring it won't interfere with the cleaning. Xiang Wan looks up, her expression a mix of surprise and warmth at the unexpected care. She playfully asks at what age Pai Pai grew out of needing her aunt's help with such personal things. Chao Xin offers a soft, enigmatic smile, clearly enjoying this newfound domestic closeness. She extends a firm hand, helping Xiang Wan rise from her spot on the floor. The two stand close for a heartbeat, the atmosphere in the room shifting toward a quiet, comfortable intimacy. To avoid any morning rush, Chao Xin suggests that Xiang Wan should start using the master bathroom for her showers. Later that night, Chao Xin relaxes on the sofa, having already finished her evening routine. Xiang Wan emerges from the hall, drying her hair with a towel and dressed in simple, flowing loungewear. The modest nightgown is a far cry from her usual polished look, emphasizing the comfort of the home. Xiang Wan asks why Chao Xin is acting so reserved and formal in a space that is supposed to be her sanctuary. Taking the observation to heart, Chao Xin retreats and returns minutes later wearing a soft, relaxed silk nightgown. Xiang Wan watches her intently, her eyes following every movement as Chao Xin settles back into the room. She offers a soft, knowing smile, her gaze making Chao Xin feel more seen than she ever expected. Chao Xin leads the way into the living room, feeling the weight of her professional persona finally begin to lift. The soft fabric of her loungewear provides a level of comfort she rarely allows herself to enjoy. Settling onto the sofa, Chao Xin makes a conscious effort to ensure Xiang Wan feels completely at home. Xiang Wan observes her mentor, noticing a rare glimpse of the woman behind the legendary reputation. Chao Xin admits that adjusting to a shared living space is a significant change after years of solitude. A gentle moment of mutual understanding passes between them as they share a quiet smile. Relaxing her posture, Chao Xin leans back to fully embrace the evening's calm atmosphere. She stretches out casually, holding a beverage as she settles into a more informal state. Xiang Wan finds herself captivated by this new, unscripted side of her roommate. Every small movement highlights the ease and grace that Chao Xin carries even in private. Xiang Wan's focus intensifies, struck by a sudden and powerful sense of admiration for her senior. Chao Xin takes a sip, her composed demeanor radiating the confidence of a seasoned professional. To Xiang Wan, her mentor embodies a level of maturity and life experience that is truly inspiring. Feeling a bit flustered by the close proximity, Xiang Wan tucks a lock of hair behind her ear. Chao Xin breaks the silence by bringing up the highly anticipated premiere of their audio drama. Xiang Wan confirms the schedule, her eyes lighting up at the thought of the project finally reaching the public. She expresses her genuine excitement about hearing herself in a leading role for the first time. Chao Xin reflects on her early career, admitting she was once more focused on the logistics of the contract. Seeing how much the industry has evolved, Xiang Wan points out the massive fan base waiting for their work. Pulling out her phone, Xiang Wan shows off the trending discussions and fan theories surrounding their duo. They lean in together to look at the screen, discussing the creative nicknames the community has come up with. The pair analyzes the potential ship names, considering how their professional identities are perceived. Xiang Wan playfully debates the hierarchy of their names based on standard fan conventions. She mentions her previous successful collaborations, specifically a popular pairing with Su Chang. Chao Xin's expression shifts slightly as she recalls Xiang Wan's past professional admiration for Su Chang. Sensing a change in the air, Xiang Wan looks down, feeling the conversation take a more serious turn. Chao Xin asks for clarification on her past feelings, leading to a moment of honest vulnerability. Feeling the weight of the late hour, Xiang Wan decides it's best to call it a night and head to bed. Chao Xin watches her depart, wondering if her direct questions were a bit too blunt for the evening. By the next morning, a sober Chao Xin is busy in the kitchen, reflecting on the previous night's tension. She carefully checks on the breakfast she's preparing, hoping to smooth things over with a warm meal. After checking the time, she decides to give Xiang Wan a few more minutes of rest before waking her. Chao Xin returns to her own room to relax for a moment while the food finishes cooking. As she slides under the covers, she is startled to find the bed isn't empty. She freezes in surprise, realizing that she isn't alone in her own room. To her amazement, she finds Xiang Wan sound asleep right there in her bed. It seems that in her sleepy state, Xiang Wan must have wandered into the wrong room by mistake. Chao Xin can't help but smile, finding the honest mistake to be quite endearing. Instead of waking her, Chao Xin decides to simply rest beside her housemate for a while. Xiang Wan remains completely oblivious, lost in a deep and peaceful slumber. Chao Xin watches her quietly, her initial frustration from the night before completely melting away. The two share a quiet, domestic moment of rest before the busy workday officially begins. Chao Xin reflects on the previous night's events while scrolling through her social media notifications. A formal announcement for their new audio drama, Help Me Pat, trends at the top of her feed. Her thumb glides across the screen, scanning the massive influx of fan feedback. One particular comment stands out, where a fan expresses an overwhelming, over-the-top level of affection for the actress. The user, a dedicated college student, has even posted her ID to prove her commitment to the star. Chao Xin stares at the device, clearly taken aback by the sheer intensity of modern fan culture. She begins to wonder if her own directness with Xiang Wan the previous night was just as jarring. She sets the phone face down, realizing they aren't truly that close yet and she may have overstepped. Sitting alone, she worries that Xiang Wan might view her as a social monster because of her forwardness. A soft knock at the door breaks her train of thought as Xiang Wan groggily responds from inside the room. Chao Xin stands at the doorway, gently reminding her roommate that it is finally time to start the day. Xiang Wan peeks out from under the covers, pleading for just 10 more minutes of precious rest. Without waiting for an answer, the exhausted girl curls back up and immediately drifts off again. Chao Xin looks down at the sleeping figure, feeling a protective instinct start to take hold of her. She compares Xiang Wan to her younger sister, though she realizes the feeling is becoming quite different. Standing over the bed, she realizes her internal dialogue is becoming increasingly soft and focused. A fleeting, protective thought crosses her mind about how a partner might treat Xiang Wan in the future. She briefly imagines a scene of pure comfort, shielding Xiang Wan from the world while she rests in her arms. Later, Xiang Wan approaches her in the living room, curious about her social media activity from that morning. Chao Xin pauses for a moment, wondering how much she should reveal about the aggressive fan comments. She checks her phone again to find the fan has sent a flurry of desperate, filtered apologies. The veteran actress finds herself at a complete loss for how to handle such a chaotic digital interaction. Xiang Wan takes a seat beside her, ready to offer her youthful perspective on social media etiquette. She points to the screen, suggesting a classic, neutral smile emoji as the perfect professional fix. Chao Xin remains skeptical, even as Xiang Wan explains that it is a polite way to appear magnanimous. Xiang Wan beams with confidence, noting that this simple trick usually makes fans turn over a new leaf. Xiang Wan then formally apologizes for the mix-up with the beds, promising to remember her place better. She clasps her hands together in a sincere, prayer-like gesture of thanks for Chao Xin's cooking. Chao Xin watches her, suddenly reminded of a movie scene regarding the meaning of a girl closing her eyes. Her focus intensifies as she admires the simple, devout expression on Xiang Wan's peaceful face. Shaking off the distraction, she takes a deep breath and heads back to the kitchen to serve the food. The two fall into a comfortable daily rhythm, sharing the domestic duties of their shared home. Meanwhile, the audio drama becomes a massive hit, sparking endless, passionate discussions across the internet. In the studio, they record a special good night alarm message for their rapidly growing fanbase. The recording equipment flickers, signaling the official end of a long and productive voice acting session. Xiang Wan notices Chao Xin's lingering anxiety and asks what is bothering her about the upcoming schedule. Chao Xin admits she is terrified of a solo livestream, fearing the awkward silence of a broadcast without a host. They sit together in the studio chairs as Chao Xin confesses her struggle with real-time interactions. Xiang Wan offers a brilliant solution. She will act as the live chat so they can run a practice simulation. The two agree to the exercise, ready to sharpen Chao Xin's improvisational skills before the real event. With a sharp, enthusiastic clap of her hands, Xiang Wan signals that the mock broadcast is now live. Xiang Wan fully commits to the role, introducing herself as the personification of the live chat stream. Chao Xin locks eyes with her, asking if she should maintain this level of focus during the actual broadcast. Xiang Wan smiles warmly, confirming that keeping her eyes on her audience is the true key to success. Chao Xin settles into her chair, ready to begin the intensive mock livestream training session. Taken aback by the sudden start, Chao Xin looks on as Xiang Wan begins the role play with a formal greeting. Xiang Wan maintains her professional composure, explaining that a polite "good evening" is the standard opening for any broadcast. Chao Xin can't help but chuckle at the formality before confirming she has already finished her dinner for the night. The two discuss the meal Xiang Wan prepared earlier, specifically the delicious braised pork ribs with bamboo shoots. Shifting the focus back to their work, Xiang Wan asks if her mentor has had the chance to listen to their latest audio drama release. Chao Xin is amused by the exaggerated praise fans heap upon her, often calling her a literal goddess of the industry. Xiang Wan explains that these intense fan reactions are exactly what they need to prepare for during the upcoming live show. Pushing the interview simulation further, Xiang Wan asks what motivated a veteran like Chao Xin to take on this specific audio drama. Chao Xin honestly admits it was for the paycheck, though Xiang Wan quickly warns her to give a more scripted, emotional answer for the audience. When Chao Xin suggests saying she simply wanted to work with her co-star, Xiang Wan notes that such a direct answer might overwhelm the fans. Realizing the question is a bit of a PR minefield, they both agree it's best to just skip it entirely during the real broadcast. Chao Xin takes a moment to reflect on the character of Su Zhizi, describing her as someone with hidden inner strength and bravery. Xiang Wan listens with deep respect as the veteran voice actress displays her profound empathy for the role. Chao Xin explains that she truly admires characters who can provide a sense of home and stability to others in modern society. Her hands rest firmly on her knees as she describes the character's quiet, burning passion hidden beneath the surface. Xiang Wan is captivated by the technical insight and emotional depth Chao Xin brings to her professional craft. With a soft sigh, Chao Xin concludes her analysis of why the character's spark resonates so strongly with her. Xiang Wan's expression turns serious as she prepares to introduce the more difficult side of online interaction. She begins reading out the blunt and often invasive comments that fans frequently post in the live chat to test Chao Xin's reactions. Chao Xin sits in stunned silence, clearly shocked by the lack of boundaries some internet users display. She asks for clarification, struggling to believe that people actually send such forward and personal messages during a broadcast. Xiang Wan confirms the reality of online harassment, explaining that she deals with similar messages in her private inbox daily and must remain prepared. Processing the weight of this new information, Chao Xin takes a steadying breath to regain her focus. Deciding they've done enough training for one night, Chao Xin stands up to finally head to her room. She quietly brushes past Xiang Wan, the weight of the day's lessons still lingering in the air. The two exchange a polite goodnight, ending their long day of professional preparation. Tossing and turning in the dark, Chao Xin finds herself unable to find any rest despite the late hour. She sits up in bed, feeling a strange restlessness that she can't quite put into words. Reaching for an old electronic device, she realizes it's been out of power for a very long time, much like her current state of mind. Her thoughts drift back to Xiang Wan, whose presence seems to occupy her mind even in the middle of the night. The air in the room feels stifling and hot, leading Chao Xin to wonder if the air conditioning has finally failed. She checks the dark room and confirms that a total power outage has left the entire residence in darkness. Xiang Wan appears in the doorway, explaining that the power was cut because she simply forgot to pay the utility bill on time. The two meet in the hallway, both struggling to cope with the sudden lack of climate control in the sweltering heat. Xiang Wan recalls her childhood, mentioning how a maid used to use a hand fan to help her sleep during hot nights. In a gesture of simple kindness, Xiang Wan offers to use her own fan to keep Chao Xin cool until the power returns. She produces a beautiful, traditional hand fan decorated with intricate golden patterns. Chao Xin is struck by how Xiang Wan's archaic habits seem to fit her unique, vintage personality perfectly. The gentle movement of the fan creates a slight breeze that cuts through the stagnant, humid air of the hallway. Chao looks slightly dazed from the temperature, her hair falling loosely around her shoulders in the dim light. Noticing her mentor stumble in the dark, Xiang Wan quickly reaches out to steady her, warning her to be careful. Xiang Wan notices the faint pink flush returning to Chao Xin's face, a look that reminds her of the last time they shared a drink. Chao Xin softly offers her thanks as she takes the ornate fan, the tension of the blackout finally lifting. With the lights flickering back to life, the two realize the long night is finally over and it's time to rest. Xiang Wan hides a small smile behind her fan, agreeing that they should both head to bed. Just as they prepare to part ways, Xiang Wan calls out to her companion one last time. In a surprising move, she suggests they formally shake hands to seal their professional bond. The request catches Chao Xin off guard, leaving her standing in the hallway with a look of pure confusion. She slowly extends her hand, wondering if this is just another part of the younger woman's unique coaching style. Xiang Wan maintains a steady, observant gaze, carefully noting her partner's reaction to the gesture. After they retreat to their own rooms, Chao Xin is left alone with her thoughts, questioning the deeper meaning behind that simple handshake. 3 days fly by, and the duo arrives at the bustling airport to fulfill an important family duty. A group of school children gathers nearby, their energy filling the arrival terminal with excitement. Little Pai Pai spots them and comes sprinting forward, her face lit up with pure joy. Chao Xin immediately pulls the young girl into a warm, protective embrace, happy to have her home. Pai Pai looks up to greet Xiang Wan, who has come prepared with a bright bouquet of sunflowers. The little girl feels a sudden wave of nerves, fearing that her teacher is about to quiz her on difficult classical texts. Xiang Wan quickly puts those fears to rest with a gentle smile, proving she is far more approachable than a strict tutor. Chao Xin takes charge, leading the group toward the exit so they can finally head home. As they walk, Pai Pai can't help but notice that her aunt seems a bit different than usual. The child reflects on the subtle, lingering look Chao Xin gave Xiang Wan just moments before. Curious about the new living arrangement, Pai Pai asks if their guest is finding the house to her liking. Xiang Wan pauses, gracefully crouching down to address the young girl's concerns directly. She explains that she took the unoccupied room, curious why the child thought her own bedroom was at risk. Pai Pai bluntly explains that Xiang Wan is a very important person because her rent money is vital for the family. The weight of being called an important person leaves Xiang Wan momentarily stunned and reflective. Chao Xin approaches the pair, noticing the serious conversation happening on the terminal floor. She stands tall and composed, ready to move past the small talk and get the family settled. With a final nod, she announces that it is officially time for them to make their way back home. During the car ride, Pai Pai mentions a boy at school who tried to win her over with ice cream. Xiang Wan playfully chimes in, suggesting that a little romance might be good if the feelings are mutual. Chao Xin shoots her a look of disbelief, shocked that she would encourage such ideas in a 10-year-old. Pai Pai whispers to her aunt that their guest sounds like she belongs to a completely different generation. Xiang Wan defends her stance by explaining the traditional customs of early betrothals in rural villages. Chao Xin jokingly tells her to pipe down before her old-fashioned views get her into trouble. She acknowledges that while customs differ by region, some things are better left in the past. Xiang Wan turns the focus back to her friend, curious about her personal perspective on the subject. She asks Chao Xin directly what age she considers the most appropriate for someone to truly fall in love. Chao Xin calmly explains that a massive age gap doesn't always make for a logical match. Pai Pai fires back with her own brand of logic, suggesting she and her aunt should be a couple if age is just a number. The veteran VA immediately shuts down the nonsense, reminding the child she isn't even old enough to be anyone's match. Offended by the rejection, Pai Pai pouts and mocks her aunt for being a great catch, who is still single. Xiang Wan watches the hilarious family bickering from the front seat as Pai Pai declares an official silent treatment. Later that evening, a steady finger enters the security code to grant them entry back into the apartment. In the kitchen, Xiang Wan stands frozen with a bowl of raw ingredients, looking completely out of her element. Chao Xin steps in to provide hands-on culinary guidance, helping the rookie find her footing in the kitchen. From the sidelines, Pai Pai remains stubborn, refusing to break her self-imposed Cold War. Trying to bridge the gap, Chao Xin begins preparing the vegetables while promising a taste test of her famous soup. The veteran playfully refers to the rookie as the young girl's personal Ms. Xiang. Xiang Wan reflects on the fascinating and subtle way they are now addressing one another through a third party. The atmosphere in the room grows warmer as the veteran VA expertly takes charge of the evening meal. A steady hand reaches out to take over the most delicate part of the food preparation. Xiang Wan offers to handle the tomato slicing herself to lighten the veteran's workload. Chao Xin hovers close by, hovering over the rookie to ensure she doesn't slip with the knife. Xiang Wan catches her gaze, realizing she has been under the veteran's watchful eye this entire time. The veteran admits she was simply worried about her partner's lack of experience with the slippery fruit. Pai Pai can't stand the domestic harmony any longer and shouts that the two adults are being way too sappy. Chao Xin turns to address the outburst, maintaining her professional and composed exterior. To everyone's surprise, Chao doesn't even bother to deny the child's observation. Pai Pai is left speechless by her aunt's newfound shamelessness while the adults discuss their schedule. Smoothing things over, Chao Xin proposes a group trip to the amusement park for the following day. The bribe works like a charm as Pai Pai finally drops her grudge and offers her forgiveness. The next day, Xiang Wan prepares for an evening at home, looking elegant as she takes a check-in call. She paces the floor in her slippers, waiting for news on how Chao Xin's business meeting is progressing. Peeking into the bedroom, she checks on the jet-lagged child who is struggling to stay awake. Pai Pai rubs her eyes, fighting a losing battle against her heavy eyelids. Xiang Wan gently encourages the girl to hold out just a bit longer to fix her sleep schedule. The rookie admits she doesn't know any card games, earning her a boring label from the blunt child. Xiang Wan takes the critique to heart, Wondering if she really lacks a fun side, Pai clarifies that compared to her aunt's strict lifestyle, Xiang Wan is actually the exciting one. Immediately defensive, Xiang Wan begins listing Chao Xin's incredible professional merits and charming personality. Pai teases her, suggesting Xiang Wan only became her teacher to secure a permanent spot in the house. The little girl goes on to describe how her aunt is actually a domestic powerhouse when it comes to cooking and organizing. Xiang Wan listens intently, unable to hide how impressed she is by the veteran's hidden household talents. Pai realizes she's lost the battle, as the rookie is clearly head over heels for her aunt's professional aura. Suddenly, a late-night call from the business meeting interrupts the peaceful evening. Xiang Wan's expression hardens as she hears the unusual strain in Chao Xin's voice on the other end. Chao Xin stands outside the KTV, her face flushed as she finishes a tense phone call. She stares down at her phone, the world beginning to blur from the heavy effects of the alcohol. She stumbles alone through a dimly lit, narrow alleyway, far from the safety of the main road. Two loitering men spot her vulnerability, their intentions clearly malicious as they trade glances. They begin to close in while Chao Xin stands frozen, her senses failing her in the shadows. She clutches her head, desperately trying to fight off the heavy fog of exhaustion and nausea. Her vision fades, and she knows that losing consciousness in a place like this would be a total disaster. Every step feels like a mountain as she begins to lose her balance in the darkness. She leans heavily against a cold stone wall, her breath hitching in a moment of pure panic. Her eyelids grow heavy, and the fight to stay awake becomes a losing battle. Suddenly, a flash of light pierces through her daze, snapping her eyes open. A taxi screeches to a halt right in front of her, illuminating the grime of the alley. A pair of heels hits the pavement with urgent speed as someone rushes out. Xiang Wan sprints toward her, appearing like a guardian through the gloom. Xiang Wan's face is etched with terror as she calls out to her friend with everything she has. She immediately seizes Chao Xin's hand, offering the physical anchor the older woman needs. Xiang Wan pulls her close, checking her over for any signs of injury or distress. Overwhelmed by relief, Chao Xin collapses her weight against Xiang Wan's shoulder, finally letting go. Xiang Wan holds her tight, whispering a promise that the nightmare is finally over. They quickly scramble into the waiting taxi to escape the dangerous street and those watching men. Inside the car, Xiang Wan takes charge and directs the driver toward their home address. Chao Xin finally exhales, letting her head fall back as the tension leaves her body. Once they are safe, Xiang Wan turns to her with a look of deep concern, wondering how she ended up alone at a KTV. Chao Xin offers a wary, half-hearted smile, explaining the disastrous turn of her business meeting. Seeing Chao Xin shiver, Xiang Wan holds her hand firmly to provide some warmth and comfort. They lean on one another for support as the car moves through the city, the long night finally drawing to a close. Back at the apartment, Xiang Wan carefully guides the staggering Chao Xin through the door. She helps her sit down on the edge of the bed, ensuring she doesn't fall over in her stupor. While Chao Xin sits in a daze, Xiang Wan sets her phone aside to focus entirely on the caretaking task at hand. She looks back at the veteran VA, realizing just how much this night has taken out of her. Chao Xin fumbles clumsily with her pajama buttons, her coordination completely gone. Xiang Wan gently reaches out to stop her shaking hands from struggling any further. She kneels down on the floor in front of her, taking over the task with steady, practiced fingers. With a strictly professional focus, she begins to fasten the buttons of the pajama top. She works efficiently, making sure her friend is properly and comfortably dressed for sleep. A soft laugh escapes Chao Xin as she mentions that the sensation tickles. Xiang Wan looks up with a gentle smile, telling her that the task is finally all done. The two stand together for a moment, the atmosphere in the room finally turning calm. Xiang Wan helps her transition from sitting to lying down comfortably on the mattress. As Chao Xin's head hits the pillow, Xiang Wan makes sure she is positioned safely. She leans over to tuck her in, reassuring her that she is safe and finally home. Chao Xin reaches down to the covers, her mind still slightly clouded by the fear of the alleyway. She lets out a long breath and closes her eyes, drifting toward much-needed rest. Xiang Wan watches over her with a protective gaze, her heart heavy with the day's stress. Chao Xin looks back up, her expression softening as she sees her friend is still by her side. Her gaze is hazy but filled with a deep, silent sense of gratitude. She weakly reaches out to touch Xiang Wan's cheek, acknowledging the help she received. With a final, quiet thank you, she allows herself to fully relax into the safety of her home. Chao Xin's eyes flutter open as the harsh light of morning greets her after a long night. She lets out a pained groan, sitting up as the physical toll of the previous night's drinking finally hits her. Xiang Wan steps into the room with a gentle smile, surprised to see her patient already awake. Chao Xin looks up in a daze, wondering how the younger girl could possibly be so energetic this early in the morning. Carrying a carefully prepared tray, Xiang Wan approaches the bedside to begin her morning care routine. Little does Chao Xin know, Xiang Wan hasn't closed her eyes for even a single second since the sun went down. She spent the entire night keeping a vigilant watch while Chao Xin slept off the alcohol in total peace. Instead of resting, Xiang Wan stayed glued to her phone, researching the best ways to treat a severe hangover. She meticulously studied medical advice to ensure her friend would have the smoothest recovery possible. By 6 in the morning, she was already in the kitchen, carefully mixing a specialized recovery drink. Now, she presents a glass of warm honey water, urging Chao Xin to finish the whole thing for proper hydration. Chao Xin's hands are still a bit shaky as she reaches out to take the glass from her caretaker. Noticing the struggle, Xiang Wan gently places her hand over Chao Xin's to steady the drink. They sit close together on the edge of the bed, a quiet moment of domestic caretaking in the morning light. Chao Xin takes a slow, cautious sip, feeling the soothing liquid immediately hit her throat. After just a few swallows, she pulls back and sighs, claiming she's had enough for now. Xiang Wan doesn't stop there, mentioning she's also prepared a light meal of millet porridge and eggs to settle her stomach. Still feeling the effects of the night before, Chao Xin politely declines, insisting she has no appetite at all. Seeing her fatigue, Xiang Wan makes the executive decision to cancel their amusement park trip so Chao Xin can focus on resting. Chao Xin looks at her with wide eyes, suddenly realizing just how much sleep Xiang Wan sacrificed to look after her. She asks why on earth the girl would stay up all night just to deal with a simple hangover. Xiang Wan looks away shyly, admitting she was simply terrified that Chao Xin might get sick in her sleep. Hearing this, Chao Xin feels a strange, unfamiliar fluttering in her chest that she can't quite explain. She gazes at Xiang Wan, overwhelmed by the pure sincerity and dedication radiating from her young rescuer. For a fleeting second, a hazy, impulsive thought crosses her mind, which she quickly blames on the lingering alcohol. She tries to protest the cancellation, worried about the non-refundable tickets they had already purchased. Xiang Wan remains firm, stating with absolute certainty that health must come before any form of entertainment. Chao Xin is struck by this sudden display of authority, seeing a refined poise in Xiang Wan she hadn't noticed before. With a final instruction for her to eat, Xiang Wan turns to head back to the kitchen for the porridge. Watching her leave, Chao Xin finds herself wondering what kind of mysterious upbringing shaped such a complex person. Xiang Wan returns momentarily, settling back down on the bed to ensure the meal is actually consumed. She lifts a spoonful of the warm porridge, bringing it right to Chao Xin's lips. Despite her initial refusal, Chao Xin finds herself being pampered with the utmost care. She accepts the bite, finding the simple, warm meal to be surprisingly comforting. Curious about the expertise, she asks where Xiang Wan learned such specific and effective hangover remedies. Xiang Wan looks down at the bowl, momentarily hesitant to reveal her secret late-night research. She offers a quick excuse, claiming a friend named Yu Zhou had mentioned these tips to her in the past. However, Chao Xin can't help but feel a sudden pang of curiosity about who else has received this level of attentive care. Xiang Wan looks on with a soft expression as she mentions her friend, while Chao Xin listens with a guarded curiosity. Chao Xin brushes her hair back, feeling a strange sense of unease about the hesitant tone she just used. Xiang Wan prepares a bowl of warm porridge, her mind racing with questions about the sudden change in atmosphere. With a gentle smile, Xiang Wan offers a spoonful of the meal to ensure Chao Xin gets the nutrition she needs. Chao Xin reaches out to take the spoon, insisting that she is strong enough to manage the meal on her own now. Xiang Wan pauses, surprised by the sudden shift but respecting the veteran's wish for independence. The bowl is carefully handed over, a silent understanding passing between the two as they transition roles. Chao Xin sits alone in the quiet bedroom, the weight of the silence settling in after Xiang Wan departs. She takes slow, deliberate bites of the porridge, focusing on the simple task of recovering her strength. Looking down at the half-finished bowl, she realizes just how much she already misses the presence of her caretaker. The clock on the wall ticks forward to nearly noon, marking the passage of time as the morning sun climbs higher. Stepping out into the living area, Chao Xin is surprised to find the room isn't as empty as she had anticipated. She spots Xiang Wan fast asleep on the rocking chair, clearly exhausted from her night of selfless care. Chao Xin stands by the window, watching the peaceful scene of her friend finally getting some much-needed rest. Pulling out her phone, she decides to check the latest professional updates in the voice acting world. She notices that the second episode of their technical audio drama project, Help Me Pat, has finally been released. Chao Xin settles in and begins to listen, her professional ear critiquing the nuance of the audio production. She focuses intensely on the recording, analyzing how the voice actors managed to convey such deep emotional relief. The audio plays through her headphones, showcasing the incredible range and vocal control required for the performance. As she listens, she glances back at the sleeping Xiang Wan, connecting the voice in the recording to the girl in the chair. The recording reaches a soft, emotive conclusion, leaving Chao Xin impressed by the technical skill involved in the craft. She scrolls through the Weibo comments, finding that fans have already come up with a clever name for their professional pairing. Chao Xin is taken aback by the sheer volume of engagement and the passionate theories from the listeners. She reads a particularly poetic post that describes Xiang Wan's natural grace and artistic presence in detail. The fans' words continue, praising the delicate and refined beauty that Xiang Wan brings to her public image. The post highlights the subtle elegance of her movements, comparing her physical presence to a scenic mountain range. Chao Xin reflects on these high praises, realizing how much the public truly admires Xiang Wan's natural talent. Suddenly, Xiang Wan stirs from her nap, catching Chao Xin right in the middle of her reading session. A wave of embarrassment hits Chao Xin as she tries to casually hide the phone screen from view. The two share a brief, awkward moment as they both try to process the sudden wake-up call. Chao Xin stands up to address her friend, hoping to move past the slightly uncomfortable situation. Just then, little Pai Pai wanders into the room, rubbing her eyes and clutching her favorite stuffed animal. The young girl looks up at the adults, confused by the serious atmosphere lingering in the living room. Chao Xin leans down to comfort the child, explaining that she was just feeling a bit under the weather from the night before. Pai Pai immediately clings to Chao Xin, seeking reassurance that her favorite person is going to be okay. Chao Xin looks on with a tender gaze, her heart softening at the child's innocent display of affection. She pulls the little girl into a protective embrace, enjoying the simple, honest comfort of the moment. Xiang Wan watches the two of them, her eyes fixed on the heartwarming scene unfolding before her. She eventually takes a seat nearby, her gaze still lingering on the bond between the aunt and her niece. Driven by a sudden spark of curiosity, Xiang Wan reaches out to join the group. She leans in close, wondering what it is about Chao Xin's presence that feels so calming and inviting to others. Finally, Xiang Wan joins the embrace, closing her eyes as she experiences the soothing warmth for herself. Xiang Wan turns to Chao Xin with a playful spark, asking if she's going to pick out a headband for their day at the park. Chao Xin hesitates for a moment, reminding her friend that she is, after all, a mature adult. Xiang Wan quickly points out that plenty of other adults are sporting the colorful accessories without a second thought. Little Pai Pai chimes in with pure excitement, explaining that wearing one is the secret to transforming into a princess. Xiang Wan leans in close, curious to see if the usually composed Chao Xin will actually give in to the fun. Initially, Chao Xin tries to politely decline, preferring to maintain her professional demeanor. Xiang Wan doesn't give up, insisting that the playful headbands are a universal staple for park visitors of all ages. Seeing Xiang Wan's enthusiasm, a soft smile finally breaks across Xian's face as she agrees to purchase 3 of them. As Xiang Wan carefully positions the deer antlers, she takes on a regal air that reminds Chao Xin of a noble figure from an ancient era. Chao Xin finds herself momentarily mesmerized by how naturally the accessory suits her friend's features. Xiang Wan returns the compliment, noting how remarkably cute the fluffy sheep ears look on Chao Xin. From the sidelines, Pai Pai observes the two adults sharing this quiet, friendly moment. The young girl can't help but notice the genuine warmth in the way they look at each other. Eager to capture the memory, Pai Pai leads them toward the perfect backdrop for a group photo. The little director takes charge, instructing Xiang Wan to strike a theatrical pose for the camera. Chao Xin readies her phone, focusing the lens to capture the perfect shot of their playful interaction. She can't hold back a laugh, genuinely amused by the adorable energy her friends are bringing to the session. Xiang Wan laments that they didn't bring silk scarves to truly elevate the dramatic flair of their photos. She vividly imagines how they could have posed with the scarves for a truly eye-catching, noble look. Chao Xin is impressed by her creativity and asks where she learned such specific and dramatic posing techniques. Xiang Wan credits her godmother for her flair, though the intensity of her explanation playfully overwhelms Chao Xin. They soon join the massive crowd, bracing themselves for the long lines that define any popular amusement park. After hours of standing, Xiang Wan's feet begin to ache, making the wait feel even longer. Seeing that the railings are too dirty to lean on, Chao Xin looks for a better way to support her tired friend. With a supportive gesture, she offers her own arm as a steady anchor for Xiang Wan to rest against. Xiang Wan looks up, her eyes wide with appreciation for the thoughtful offer. She reaches out and securely links her arm with Chao Xin's as the line slowly shuffles forward. Chao Xin notes that many others in line are doing the same to stay comfortable during the long wait. Xiang Wan remains quiet, contemplating the camaraderie they share compared to the strangers around them. Sensing the change in mood, Chao Xin checks in to make sure everything is okay. Xiang Wan quickly dismisses it with a smile, assuring her that she's just enjoying the moment. Their arms remain tightly linked, a small but significant gesture of their growing bond. Xiang Wan watches as other visitors rest their heads on their companions' shoulders to pass the time. Following their lead, she gently leans her head against Chao Xin, finding comfort in their shared presence as they wait. Pai Pai's excitement reaches a fever pitch as the group finally reaches the front of the line for the giant pirate ship ride. They take their seats on the wooden benches, with Chao Xin remaining perfectly poised despite the looming drop. Following the attendant's instructions, they firmly grasp the safety railing as the ride prepares to launch. The massive vessel swings upward, momentarily suspending the riders against the vast blue sky. As the gravity shifts, Xiang Wan's eyes widen in a sudden realization of the terrifying height. Her knuckles turn white as she instinctively increases her grip on the cold metal bar. The ship plummets downward, sending the crowd into a frenzy of screams while Xiang Wan remains frozen in silent shock. Chao Xin glances over, noting the sheer intensity of the experience written all over her companion's face. Once back on solid ground, Pai Pai is buzzing with energy, while a shell-shocked Xiang Wan tries to find her bearings. Chao Xin checks in on her, But Xiang Wan insists she was simply deep in philosophical thought. With a pale face, she questions why anyone would willingly choose to endure such a terrifying ordeal. Despite her calm words, her legs are visibly shaking from the lingering adrenaline. Her balance fails her for a moment, forcing Chao Xin to step in and provide a steadying arm. Seeing her distress, Chao Xin guides her toward a nearby bench to rest and recover. They take a seat together, where Xiang Wan finds comfort by leaning against her friend's shoulder. Chao Xin gently teases her, wondering how she managed to stay so quiet during such a frightening ride. Xiang Wan listens intently as Chao Xin explains that screaming is a natural way to release pent-up stress. Ever the stubborn one, Xiang Wan declares that she refuses to show any sign of weakness or vocalize her fear. A quick memory surfaces of her younger self, determined to maintain a tough exterior even when facing something incredibly sour. Back in the present, the two sit in a comfortable silence, recovering from the day's excitement. The group later encounters a silent mascot, leaving Xiang Wan feeling a bit disconnected from the park's whimsical atmosphere. As they walk through the crowds of giant characters, the sheer scale of the park's energy feels overwhelming to her. As night falls, the sky erupts into a brilliant display of pyrotechnics over the water. The vibrant lights finally bring a genuine smile to Xiang Wan's face as she watches the show with childlike wonder. Chao Xin finds herself more captivated by the joy on Xiang Wan's face than the actual display above them. They stand side by side in the glow of the fireworks, marking a peaceful end to their hectic day out. Later, the focus shifts to business as a real estate agent introduces them to a potential new office space. The agent leads them through the spacious interior, highlighting the unique features of the attic level. Chao Xin surveys the room with a professional eye, imagining its potential as a high-end recording studio. When the agent steps away to take a call, the duo decides to explore the outdoor terrace on their own. Stepping out into the open air, they look out over the city from their elevated vantage point. Xiang Wan asks for her honest opinion on the property, curious about what caught her eye. Chao Xin admits that the terrace is her favorite part, though she feels her reasoning might be a bit silly. She opens up about her childhood, explaining that her family's financial situation kept her away from simple pleasures like movies. She recalls a pivotal moment when she saw a snippet of a classic film that left a lasting impression on her young mind. Because of that memory, standing in the wind always makes her crave a sense of total freedom. Understanding the sentiment perfectly, Xiang Wan moves closer to provide a supportive presence. She helps recreate that cinematic sense of freedom, allowing Chao Xin to finally experience the moment she's always dreamed of. The two find themselves in a sudden, heart-pounding embrace on the high-rise terrace. A hand trembles slightly against the cold metal railing as the atmosphere shifts. The wind catches their hair as they pull apart, the silence heavy with unspoken words. Xiang Wan decides to break the tension, admitting that she hasn't been as disciplined or observant of boundaries as she originally promised. She courageously reveals that during the previous power outage, she felt a sudden, inexplicable urge to kiss her mentor. Looking down, she wonders aloud if she's just being overly reliant or perhaps just seeking a sense of belonging like a clingy baby bird. She worries that her feelings are merely a byproduct of past memories being triggered by their new life together. Fearing she's made things awkward, Xiang Wan offers to find a new place to live as soon as possible if her presence is now uncomfortable. Chao Xin rests her hand on the railing, genuinely appreciative of such a direct and honest confession. She admits that she has never navigated a relationship before and isn't quite sure what kind of person she is drawn to. However, she softly acknowledges that the simple physical comfort of their recent hug felt really nice. Xiang Wan stares back in wide-eyed shock, her heart racing at the veteran's candidness. Standing on the stairs, Chao Xin turns the tables, asking if that desire to be close still remains. They lean back against the balcony together, reflecting on the simple comfort they find in each other's presence. Chao Xin looks her in the eye and gives her full permission to explore these new feelings without hesitation. For the first time, Xiang Wan feels like she doesn't have to rush to figure everything out in this demanding world. Standing together under the open sky, the desire to express her affection returns stronger than ever. The moment is suddenly punctured by the agent, who delivers the news that the office has already been rented out to someone else. Feeling the weight of the long day, Chao Xin decides it's time to wrap up their search and head back. Walking through the quiet parking garage, Xiang Wan worries that her friend is disappointed about the lost office space. At the car door, Chao Xin mentions she's run out of cigarettes to calm her nerves. Seeing an opening, Xiang Wan asks if she would prefer to share a kiss instead. Chao Xin pauses, her gaze lingering on the younger woman with a look of deep, silent consideration. The tension in the air is palpable as they stand together in the shadow of the vehicle. Simultaneously, they reach for their door handles, deciding to take their conversation inside. The heavy thud of the car doors sealing shut echoes through the empty garage. Inside the quiet cabin, Chao Xin pulls her closer, confirming the moment is even softer than she imagined. A gentle touch to the lip signals the start of a brand new chapter in their relationship. In the privacy of the car, They finally share a heartfelt kiss, solidifying their unique and growing bond. In the quiet sanctuary of the car, Chao Xin and Xiang Wan finally bridge the distance between them, sharing a moment of pure honesty. Xiang Wan approaches the encounter with the same studious intensity she applies to her voice acting, focusing on every technical detail. The world outside vanishes as they lose themselves in this long-awaited connection. As they slowly pull apart, a breathless Xiang Wan can only whisper her mentor's name. Chao Xin gently instructs her to close her eyes once more, taking control of the rhythm. The veteran voice actress leans back in, her presence overwhelming the small space of the vehicle. Xiang Wan realizes that the experience is nothing like the metaphors she's read online. There is no sweetness of chocolate, only a grounding reality. Instead, she is met with the scent of skincare products and the exchange of warm, steady breath. Chao Xin's hand finds its way to Xiang Wan's face, anchoring them both in the present moment. They eventually break away, the air heavy with the weight of their shared confession. Chao Xin maintains her composure, softly asking for Xiang Wan's thoughts on the professional-turned-personal encounter. She follows up with a direct question, asking if this was truly Xiang Wan's first time experiencing such a close bond. Her fingers linger near Xiang Wan's ear, a subtle sign of the new level of intimacy they've reached. When Chao Xin reveals it was her first time too, Xiang Wan is stunned by how composed and experienced her mentor seemed. Looking away, Chao Xin exudes an effortless allure that belies her internal nerves. Despite her calm facade, the deep red tint on Chao Xin's ears betrays her true feelings of embarrassment. Chao Xin expresses concern over their age difference, wondering if she's the right choice for someone just starting their career. Xiang Wan offers a warm, reassuring smile, insisting that age is irrelevant to her feelings. Chao Xin admits her traditional mindset usually makes her feel disconnected from the younger generation. Xiang Wan listens intently, her expression softening as she realizes the depth of Chao Xin's hesitation. However, Chao Xin clarifies that those old-fashioned rules don't apply when she's looking at Xiang Wan. The rookie is caught off guard by the sincerity and exclusivity of the veteran's declaration. Chao Xin realizes there is something uniquely special about Xiang Wan that defies her usual logic. They sit in the quiet back seat for a moment longer, basking in the newfound clarity of their partnership. Finally, Chao Xin decides it's time for them to head back and conclude the evening. Moving to the driver's seat, she reflects on the series of events that led them to this turning point. As the car starts moving, she asks if Xiang Wan had wanted to do this since the night of the power outage. Xiang Wan admits she restrained herself then, choosing a formal handshake over her true impulses to maintain professionalism. Chao Xin can't help but find the substitution of a handshake for such a deep connection to be quite an unusual choice. Xiang Wan explains it was a peculiar piece of advice she once received about maintaining boundaries. Chao Xin presses further, confirming that Xiang Wan has never felt this specific pull toward anyone else in the industry. As she focuses on the road, Chao Xin reflects on how she originally viewed their time together as mere consolation for the lost office space. Her gaze hardens as she realizes her internal state has grown far more complex than she anticipated. Her hand tightens on the steering wheel, a physical manifestation of the bitter and bothered emotions swirling in her heart. Xiang Wan recalls the descriptions of romance she read in forbidden books, wondering what a kiss would truly taste like. She quickly discovers the reality is far more wonderful than any literary description she could have imagined. Looking at Chao Xin, she realizes that one taste is never enough. The first time only creates a hunger for more. With newfound courage, Xiang Wan asks if they can share a second kiss right now. Chao Xin pauses, her expression unreadable as she prepares to set a firm boundary. She gently declines for today, admitting that the emotional weight of their transition has left her feeling suddenly drained. Xiang Wan can't help but look dejected as the moment of intimacy reaches a temporary halt. Chao Xin softens the rejection, encouraging her to stop being so formal and simply ask for what she wants in the future. The world outside continues to move as they wait for the traffic light to change. Shifting the focus back to their professional lives, Chao Xin asks if Xiang Wan plans to get her driver's license once school starts. When Xiang Wan notes she doesn't even own a vehicle, the veteran voice actress offers her own car for practice. It's a rare moment of vulnerability as Chao Xin admits she gets tired and needs someone she trusts to take the wheel. Xiang Wan is stunned by this unexpected request for support from someone she looks up to so much. She smiles warmly, determined to master the road so she can become someone the senior can truly rely on. Time jumps to the end of the month, where a sea of enthusiastic fans awaits the start of an audio drama autograph session. The duo enters the venue together, greeted by the overwhelming energy of a massive crowd. Xiang Wan leans in to whisper a quick explanation about the shippers, who are merging their fan colors. The fans erupt in cheers, holding up elaborate signs urging the two stars to get married. Chao Xin adjusts her glasses, trying to maintain her professional composure amidst the loud chants. The crowd interprets their close proximity as a sign of mutual shyness, fueling the excitement even further. While Chao Xin finds the fan theories ridiculous, Xiang Wan secretly finds the situation far too perfect to ignore. The host takes the stage to officially introduce the talented lead voice actors to the audience. They step forward into the spotlight together, radiating the grace and poise of seasoned professionals. The autograph session officially begins, with fans lining up in an orderly fashion to meet their idols. Supporters whisper among themselves, comparing the elegant atmosphere of the table to a formal wedding ceremony. Chao Xin finds herself genuinely amused, unable to hide a small smile as she listens to the fans' creative chatter. Xiang Wan notices the sudden change in her partner's mood and asks what could possibly be so funny. Chao Xin surprises the next fan in line by directly referencing one of the playful comments she overheard. The embarrassed fan scurries away in a panic, thrilled that the star didn't deny their favorite ship. Xiang Wan playfully scolds her for scaring the poor girl, though she's clearly enjoying the banter. Usually, Xiang Wan views these fan interactions as strictly business, without any emotional fluctuation. But with Chao Xin by her side, she realizes this session feels different, and she has never been happier. Guided by a staff member, Chao Xin and Xiang Wan arrive at a high-end restaurant for a critical business dinner. Chao Xin questions why her junior insisted on joining such a formal meeting, only for Xiang Wan to claim she's simply there to broaden her professional horizons. Chao Xin's eyes soften with a hint of worry, silently hoping her prestige won't be pressured into drinking like their last outing. The duo finally reaches the entrance of the private suite, prepared for a night of intense networking. Inside, a lavish spread and several influential industry figures are already settled around the table. Manager Xiao Tan greets them with a warm smile, eager to facilitate the introductions. Chao Xin is presented to the man in charge, producer Hu, who maintains a stern and professional demeanor. Xiang Wan politely introduces herself as Chao Xin's friend, ensuring she remains a supportive presence without overstepping. Mr. Hu acknowledges them with a brief nod before signaling for everyone to take their seats. The producer begins a crass rant about his project, claiming he only cares about hiring big names for vanity roles regardless of their actual talent. A heavy silence falls over the table as Chao Xin's expression turns ice cold at his blatant lack of respect for the voice acting craft. Xiang Wan watches her mentor closely, realizing that while others might see this as standard business, to Chao Xin, it's a direct insult to her professional integrity. Completely ignoring the tension, Mr. Hu points to a young man across the table, casually offering him a role on a whim. The young man dismisses the offer with a scoff, admitting he has no interest in learning how to act. Mr. Hu laughs it off, mocking modern actors who just count numbers on set instead of delivering actual lines. He takes the insult further, suggesting that professional voice actors should actually be grateful for incompetent actors providing them with work. Chao Xin glares at him with quiet intensity, her patience with the producer's arrogance reaching its absolute limit. Adding fuel to the fire, the young man suggests Chao Xin perform her famous goddess voice right there like a common party trick. Despite the blatant provocation, Chao Xin remains silent, weighing the importance of the collaboration against this systemic disrespect. Mr. He's wife joins the mockery, condescendingly questioning why voice actors are so quiet and reserved in person. She continues her patronizing remarks, suggesting that as professionals, they must spend all day practicing trivial tongue twisters. The woman has the audacity to ask Chao Xin to perform one for her toddler, treating a world-class artist like a child's entertainer. The child babbles in excitement, completely unaware of the degrading nature of his mother's request. The young man reaches for his phone, intending to record the humiliating display to show off to his girlfriend. Sensing the breaking point, Xiang Wan looks at her mentor, ready to support whatever move she makes next. Chao Xin stands tall, her voice cutting through the room with authority as she declares that the situation is entirely inappropriate. Without a second thought, she reaches out and firmly grasps Xiang Wan's hand to pull her away. She leads her junior out of the room, choosing her dignity and their mutual respect over a toxic professional deal. Behind them, Mr. Hu shouts empty threats about ruining their careers, but Chao Xin doesn't give him a second glance. Back in the safety of the hotel, Chao Xin takes a call from her manager, confirming she stayed sober and handled the exit professionally. She ends the call and looks at her phone, the weight of the evening finally beginning to lift from her shoulders. Relaxing at last, she steps out of her shoes and moves into the comfort of the hotel suite. Chao Xin takes a seat on the edge of the bed, her gaze fixed on the girl who stood by her side through the ordeal. She looks up at Xiang Wan, her voice soft and vulnerable as she calls out her name. With a newfound sense of resolve and trust, Chao Xin looks her junior in the eye and simply says, "Let's do it." Chao Xin rests her hand on the edge of the bed, her resolve steady after a grueling night in the industry. Xiang Wan stands close, trying to understand the depth of the veteran's sudden, intense declaration. Chao Xin's eyes narrow as she processes the unexpected resistance from her junior colleague. The silence in the room stretches, highlighting the heavy emotional weight of their professional connection. Xiang Wan takes a seat, her posture reflecting a deep sense of protective duty toward the woman she admires. She looks up with eyes full of concern, determined to prioritize Chao Xin's emotional well-being above everything else. Chao Xin listens intently, her usual cold exterior melting away in the face of such genuine sincerity. Xiang Wan explains that any step forward must feel right for both of them, showing her maturity as a supportive partner. Chao Xin sits back, confessing that her frustration with the industry's toxicity led to this rare moment of vulnerability. She reaches for her hair, finding a sense of calm in Xiang Wan's steady and comforting presence. The veteran pulls the rookie into a supportive embrace, seeking a moment of respite from the outside world. Xiang Wan remains still, focused on providing the quiet comfort her mentor clearly needs right now. They lean toward each other, the air between them filled with mutual respect and professional admiration. Their faces come together in a moment of pure, shared understanding and trust. The embrace lingers, serving as a silent pact to weather any future professional storms together. Chao Xin reclines slightly, finally finding peace within the quiet safety of the hotel room. They stay close, their bond strengthening as they navigate the emotional aftermath of the evening. Xiang Wan listens as Chao Xin opens up about her personal philosophy and her detachment from a painful past. Chao Xin looks up, explaining that Xiang Wan is the only person who feels like a fresh, untainted start in her world. Xiang Wan wonders why someone as established as Chao Xin would place so much emotional value on a newcomer. Chao Xin closes her eyes, admitting that a true, honest connection is something she rarely finds in her career. They maintain their close proximity, establishing a foundation of absolute trust and honesty between them. Xiang Wan smiles, her expression radiating a warmth that eases the veteran's wary heart. Chao Xin acknowledges the younger girl's words, feeling a massive weight lift off her shoulders. Xiang Wan's face shows nothing but pure sincerity as she shares her own mysterious personal history. They share a tender, supportive hug, cherishing the quiet and fragrant atmosphere of their sanctuary. Chao Xin realizes that their dynamic has shifted into a deeper level of mutual reliance and professional care. A brief moment of confusion arises as Xiang Wan mentions a specific material allergy that requires a change in their approach to the night. The mood remains tranquil as they focus on maintaining a comfortable and safe environment for their shared rest. They lean in once more, the trust between them now fully established as they support each other's needs. Chao Xin looks completely relaxed, her features softening in a way she rarely allows anyone else to see. Xiang Wan focuses her full attention on her partner, her gaze filled with unwavering professional devotion. The two stay close on the bed, their bond now an unshakable pillar of support against the industry's pressures. Chao Xin's smile is remarkably gentle, reflecting a warmth that her junior has successfully managed to draw out. They share a moment of quiet closeness, the stress of the day finally fading into the background. A hand slides down as they settle into the restorative comfort of their shared supportive space. They lean together one last time, fully committed to navigating their future as a united and loyal team. Chao Xin leans over Xiang Wan in the hotel bed, their bond growing deeper as they explore this new level of trust. They share a quiet, whispered conversation, eyes locked in a moment of pure emotional connection. Chao Xin looks down with a soft, questioning gaze, making sure her partner is comfortable with this vulnerability. Xiang Wan looks up, her expression filled with a gentle, reassuring warmth that speaks volumes. Chao Xin gently grasps Xiang Wan's hand, a physical anchor as they navigate their shared personal journey. Xiang Wan draws closer, her gaze intense as she asks for another chance to show her dedication. Chao Xin's eyes widen slightly, clearly moved by the sincerity and focus of her junior partner. She takes a steady breath, ready to follow Xiang Wan's lead in this delicate dance of mutual support. Looking away with a faint blush, Xiang Wan expresses her preference for how they should continue their evening of bonding. They settle into a new position, maintaining a strictly supportive and close-knit embrace as the night progresses. A hand reaches out tentatively, emphasizing the gentle touch required to maintain such a fragile peace. Chao Xin lets out a soft sigh of relief, finally letting the stress of the industry melt away in the safety of the room. Xiang Wan leans in close, providing a steady presence as they share a moment of quiet reflection. A close-up captures the subtle, gentle interaction between them, highlighting the technical precision of their closeness. In a moment of pure relaxation, Chao Xin lets her guard down completely, breathing in the calm atmosphere. They share a tender, innocent kiss, sealing their pact of mutual trust and loyalty. Afterward, they rest together in the quiet room, the morning light beginning to filter through as they discuss their feelings. In a playful moment, Xiang Wan mentions a slight discomfort in her hand from the night's events. She explains the technicality of how her hand got caught, showing the innocent reality of their close quarters. Chao Xin listens with a knowing, gentle smile, amused by her partner's adorable honesty. Xiang Wan acts like a pampered kitten, basking in the care and attention of her mentor. They share one last soft, affectionate moment before the reality of the day sets in. Exhausted from their deep emotional exchange, Xiang Wan drifts off to sleep in Chao Xin's protective arms. Later, Xiang Wan wakes up in the bed, reflecting on the profound intimacy of the previous night. She looks over at the sleeping Chao Xin, marveling at the peace her presence brings. Sitting up, Xiang Wan finds herself in uncharted territory, unsure of the proper way to face her partner the morning after. She reaches for her phone on the nightstand, seeking answers to the questions spinning in her head. With a look of focused determination mixed with a bit of confusion, she searches for advice on how to navigate this new stage of their relationship. Xiang Wan frantically searches her phone, frustrated by the lack of social advice. She types a specific query about how to greet someone after their shared night. Chao Xin stirs awake, questioning why her partner is already up. Deciding on a routine, Xiang Wan heads for a shower to give Chao Xin more rest. Later, Xiang Wan returns to find Chao Xin refreshed and snacking on fruit. Chao Xin suggests they head out for a meal together once she's ready. Xiang Wan watches her, amazed by how effortlessly calm she appears. She playfully claims she used up all the hot water during her shower. Chao Xin pauses, processing the unexpected joke from the rookie. Xiang Wan realizes the veteran was actually teasing her the whole time. A soft smile plays on Chao Xin's lips as she relaxes. She laughs, finding Xiang Wan's playful side quite surprising. The sudden warmth leaves Xiang Wan momentarily stunned. The words trigger a memory of a similar comment from the past. Xiang Wan worries if she's simply being compared to an old acquaintance. The duo eventually departs the hotel, luggage in hand. Chao Xin adopts her signature cold, professional public persona. Waiting fans hesitate, intimidated by the veteran's icy aura. Breaking the tension, Chao Xin offers an autograph to the stunned group. She engages with the fans, showing a rare, gentle side. Xiang Wan recognizes a familiar face among the supporters. She kindly recalls the fans' previous gift, making her day. Xiang Wan shares her plans to focus on her upcoming archaeology studies. They bid the fans farewell and head toward their transportation. Seated in the car, Chao Xin notes how well Xiang Wan handles the public. Xiang Wan looks over, humble about her social skills. Chao Xin wonders aloud if her own personality is too difficult for others. A heavy silence fills the car as the conversation turns serious. Chao Xin asks why Xiang Wan seemed so distant earlier that morning. Xiang Wan honestly admits that she was just feeling incredibly shy. Memories of their recent emotional closeness flash through her mind. A deep blush creeps up as she explains her need for adjustment. The two share a quiet, reflective moment as they drive into the city. Chao Xin grips the steering wheel, her expression tightening as she warns Xiang Wan that such heavy topics are too distracting for the road. Xiang Wan leans in, her eyes wide with a mix of hope and anxiety as she asks the defining question, what exactly is their status now? Chao Xin gazes ahead at the traffic, choosing her words with clinical precision to explain that her hesitation isn't about a lack of affection. She clarifies her stance with a serious look, believing that a lasting partnership shouldn't be built solely on the foundation of a single night's intimacy. Softening her gaze, she explains that making a relationship official is a monumental step that requires weaving another person into the very fabric of one's future. A flash of vulnerability crosses Chao Xin's face as she admits she doesn't believe either of them is truly prepared for that level of commitment yet. Watching her closely, Xiang Wan realizes that the veteran VA is actually masking a deep-seated insecurity about the new people Xiang Wan will meet at school. Chao Xin remains firm, advising the younger girl to move forward with caution and give the idea of a relationship much more serious thought. Xiang Wan pushes back, asking for a clear answer on whether a thoughtful decision from her would finally lead to a yes from Chao Xin. Determined to bridge the gap, Xiang Wan asks to hear every single concern so they can dismantle them one by one. Chao Xin looks away, the weight of her own traditional upbringing and expectations making the conversation even more complex. Xiang Wan reflects on her own strict background, noting that her current actions would usually warrant a long, grueling penance in an ancestral hall. Chao Xin can't help but find the irony in the situation, noting how Xiang Wan's current pedantic attitude contrasts with her boldness the night before. In a moment of internal chaos, the two struggle to reconcile their public masks with the raw honesty of their private feelings. Xiang Wan sighs, admitting that her impulsive nature often clashes with her sudden bouts of overwhelming self-consciousness. The two exchange a series of quick, awkward thoughts about their lack of experience in navigating these new emotional waters. Chao Xin steers the conversation back to a protective stance, suggesting that focusing solely on their current connection is the most sensible path. She brings up a series of practical health concerns, emphasizing the importance of safety and professional medical precautions in any relationship. The technical discussion takes a turn toward the biological risks of something as simple as a kiss, leaving Xiang Wan slightly stunned. Xiang Wan finally smiles, realizing that staying by Chao Xin's side is indeed the safest and most logical choice she can make. Changing the subject to their professional lives, Xiang Wan mentions a lunch invite from their colleagues and wonders if Chao Xin should join. Chao Xin's suspicion flares up, wondering if Xiang Wan is only asking out of politeness rather than a genuine desire for her company. She looks out the window, feeling like she might just be seen as a convenient driver rather than a partner. Xiang Wan quickly clarifies that her hesitation was only because she just remembered who exactly sent the invitation. Checking her phone, Xiang Wan tentatively asks if Chao Xin has some sort of professional grievance with the author, Yu Zhou. Chao Xin sets the record straight, expressing her deep professional respect for the author, despite any social awkwardness. The scene shifts as they arrive at a bustling Caoshan beef hot pot restaurant for their group meeting. In a flurry of digital messages and quick check-ins, the group confirms everyone's arrival after the long drive. The colleagues gather around a steaming pot, the atmosphere filled with the aroma of food and the tension of unspoken words. Yu Zhou notes the impressive travel time, trying to break the ice as the meal begins. However, she can't help but notice the strange, distant energy vibrating between Chao Xin and Xiang Wan. She recalls how attentive Xiang Wan used to be toward the senior VA, making the current silence even more conspicuous. Yu Zhou compares this to how close Peng Wanji and Xiang Wan became after their own recent trip together. She remembers them leaving for that trip as mere acquaintances with a standard professional boundary. In stark contrast, they returned looking like the best of friends, radiating a newfound warmth and synergy. Watching Xiang Wan sip her drink, Zhou remains deeply suspicious of the shift in the group's internal dynamics. Chao Xin keeps her head down, focusing intently on her plate to avoid the prying eyes of her colleagues. Xiang Wan offers a gentle, subtle smile, leaving the observers to wonder what truly transpired during their private time away. The group gathers around the hot pot, debating whether clear broth has been ordered yet. Zhuo turns to the others for their input, but Chao Xin remains uncharacteristically quiet. An awkward silence settles over the table as the two leads refuse to even lock eyes. Zhuo watches them closely, sensing a subtle shift in the air that suggests a deeper tension. A sudden notification breaks the silence, prompting a secretive exchange beneath the table. In a private chat, Xiang Wan insists there was no fight, claiming Chao Xin's distant behavior is merely a sign of professional respect. Despite the explanation, the atmosphere at the lunch table remains heavy and strained. Chao Xin maintains a stoic, elegant composure, her expression unreadable to those around her. Xiang Wan starts to overthink, worrying that her unstyled hair or a minor blemish is drawing negative attention from her senior. She tries to focus on her phone, hoping to mask her growing self-consciousness in this professional setting. Zhuo tries to break the ice by addressing Ms. Chao directly about her professional history. She mentions another work called Shrine, claiming it's a much more technical and plot-driven piece than their current project. Zhuo flashes a knowing smile, clearly testing the waters with this new topic. Chao Xin is caught off guard, questioning the sudden change in subject matter. The author encourages her to take a look at the other script if she's interested in a different narrative style. Chao Xin ponders the suggestion, wondering if she should dive into the recommended reading for research. Xiang Wan watches the interaction, her face a mask of quiet, professional observation. The rest of the colleagues listen in, trying to gauge the mood of their lead voice actors. The conversation shifts back to the original novel as everyone tries to maintain a sense of workplace normalcy. Chao Xin admits her preference for a specific character, showing her deep engagement with the source material. Xiang Wan remains focused on the meal, keeping her thoughts strictly to herself. The two sit side by side, a wall of professional courtesy hiding the internal turmoil beneath. To the onlookers, the meal feels less like a friendly lunch and more like a high-stakes negotiation. Finally, the tension is broken when someone stands up to head for the condiments. Xiang Wan takes the opportunity to escape the table, offering to fetch dipping sauces for the group. A few others decide to join her, eager for a change of scenery and a break from the tension. Chao Xin stays behind for a moment, promising to follow shortly after she finishes her current task. This leaves her momentarily alone with her thoughts as the others depart for the sauce station. A playful memory of a paper rabbit surfaces, reminding them of a lighter moment during their collaboration. Chao Xin finally rises, heading toward the sauce station to rejoin the group. She offers a technical tip to Xiang Wan, warning her about the intense heat level of the bird's eye chili. A small paper rabbit sits on the table, a silent witness to their shared history and evolving dynamic. Chao Xin feels a wave of relief, sensing that the cold front between them is finally beginning to thaw. The sauce station becomes a hub of activity as they carefully mix their preferred blends according to the guide. Standing shoulder to shoulder, the two focus intently on the task at hand. As a stranger passes by, the space between them narrows, forcing a moment of close professional proximity. A gentle, steadying hand is placed on a shoulder to guide them through the crowded area safely. They continue their work in a synchronized rhythm, the previous awkwardness fading into the background. Xiang Wan adjusts her attire, maintaining her focus as they stand close together at the counter. With their sauces ready, Chao Xin leads the way back to the table with a supportive gesture. The colleagues watch their return, noting the seamless and coordinated way they move together.